Hey, it's Julie Hutchison here again for Think Be Do Leadership, and we want to talk today about why is it that when the winner of the Academy Award or whatever it might be, whatever award, always says, "I couldn't have done it without my team. I couldn't have done it without those that are around me," and what that means for business, because it's exactly the same in business. We can't do it without the team. Yeah. And maybe even more so than the Academy Awards, because a leader is only as good as the performance of the team. And therefore, we need to look at how can we create that performance within our business through our team. Because I don't know about you, but there's only 24 hours a day and it's far too difficult doing it all myself. And maybe you feel like, you're still not delegating enough, or you can't trust your team enough, or maybe you feel like, oh my goodness, I'm still doing all the work. Why are these people not as keen on what we're doing, not as excited and engaged with what I'm trying to achieve here as me, and I still seem to be the one pushing uphill. There's so many obstacles in the way of creating team performance, because we need to design it, and if we don't get it right, what happens is that we feel like there's apathy for what we're trying to do, or maybe there's conflict and people are too busy badgering each other and moaning about each other than they are on really making things happen, and therefore it's all still down to you or maybe one or two people. And if we can turn that round, what it means is that actually, if you picture the scene, what we've got is a group of people working together and enjoying themselves and being focused on achieving the outcomes without you having to push them. In fact, going on holiday, and they still do it because they know exactly where they're going to and what they want to achieve. And it's the same as what you want to achieve. So you don't have to try so hard. And sometimes, if we look at what the reason is why that happens, then sometimes it's because of us, sometimes it's because of how we show up, or sometimes it's because of them. And sometimes it's just because they don't get what we're trying to talk about. And what I want to do today is to look at what are the levers, the gears, the spark plugs of the engine of our team, and what are the accelerators to that, and understanding where the brakes are, so that we can find the delicate balance of creating a team that is performing beautifully without us having to poke and push and try and making it happen, because it's happening automatically. And to be honest, there's really only 6 areas that we need to look at. There's things within that we have to get right, and we help our clients with all the time. But what we need to do is to understand the 6 areas, and for you to be able to say, yeah, actually, I'm doing this right, but I might be doing this bit wrong, or I might need to tweak this area. So I want to share the 6 areas that I believe are the most important. Now, when I say share, that means I'm going to have to try and share this screen. So let's give that a whirl, because it can be very interesting sometimes. But let's see what we can do. Here we go. Let's give this a go. And shout if you can see, or you can't see it, let me know. So here, what I am showing you here is what I call the team performance engine. And I want to talk about the 6 areas. Okay. So the first area is what I call set. What do I mean by that? Well, what I mean is to set a clear focus and direction. Now, as your business grows, or if you have a team and you're busy working on stuff, then what often happens is we're so busy doing that we forget to look at where we're actually going. And we forget to really focus, especially with a smaller business, because as it grows, initially we're just doing what we do, and we know we want to build a business, but that's like really unclear. So what happens is so often is that we are not stopping and looking at where is it we're going, where are we trying to get to, and setting a really clear intention of what it is I'm trying to achieve. And so what that means is that we do great stuff, but it's almost like either it's by default rather than by design. And if I don't know where I'm going, or my team don't know where I'm going, then how can anybody choose to follow? Yeah. If nobody knows, or they don't agree, But let's say nobody knows in the first place. If we don't know where we're going, it's like saying, well, we're going on holiday. The first question is, well, where are we going? It's the first thing we need to know if we want to come away with you, if we want to go where you're going. And so if we haven't set that, we haven't really worked hard on being clear about what it is and understanding it for ourselves, then how do we expect our team to not be apathetic towards what we're trying to achieve? Because we haven't set it, we haven't been clear ourselves. And what I see so often is that it's maybe on the the bank manager might see it, let's say, of where we're supposedly going, but it's really not clear in terms of what are our values, what's our vision, and how do we want to get there, what's the culture that we want to define. So we need to make sure that we define that. However, the second mistake I see is that we don't do this next step, and that is that we don't share. What do I mean? Well, we need to share the inspiring message that is our vision, and what is it that we want to achieve, and how can each of our team members get on board with that? Because it's all very well having it on the wall in a nice framed diagram, or in your drawer, or on your screensaver, but unless we share it with the people in the business, and it's inspiring to them, and they believe it, and they believe that you want to do this, then again, they can't get on board. It's just as good as not having it, really, if you don't share it. And so we have to make sure that we share that inspiring message. Okay. When we do that, then that means that we are allowing people to choose whether they get on board with us. Okay. And that's something that is very, very important in terms of how we deal with that, when we help people to make sure that they have that message. Is how are you going to share it? How are you going to get people to believe in you? And it's important, that's a skill, to be able to do that. Okay, the next thing is that we need to solidify. Okay, that means that you have to make sure that you have a rock solid connection with every member of your team. Okay, because what happens so often is that either we don't have that connection, or we don't know how to communicate. We don't understand that person, what motivates them, what doesn't motivate them, and we don't appreciate them for the differences that they have, or the differences in terms of who they are. And that means that we either end up with conflict, or we end up with people who are unmotivated, who don't feel really that they're used well, or they don't feel that you understand them. And that means we don't get the best out of them, because they're probably too busy either fighting amongst themselves or arguing around the water cooler about you, and therefore nobody gets anything done. So if you want the most done, we then need to create that connection with people, and we need to learn how to communicate and how to be a good communicator. That's super, super important. And the next thing is linked to that, is that we need to show up. Well, what I mean is we need to design the positive impact of ourselves and for each member of the team. It's really important that we make sure that we're conscious of the impact that we have, and the impact that every single member of your team has. And this is something that I find is so often ignored, is making sure that culturally we all know that we're responsible for how we show up. You particularly, me particularly, because we are the leader, but it's everybody in a business. How do we create that? How do we create a culture of a positive impact, positive behavior, being conscious of that behavior? Because when we do that, and what we found is when we train people to do that, we show people how to be more conscious of their impact, how to design what they're looking for, and to go ahead and really live that, then what we have is a far better working environment, a far better dynamic, and therefore the impact that we have across the organization is far more positive, which means that people want to be there. They don't leave. They don't complain. They are enjoying being there and enjoying being in the room with you and with their team members. So we design that positive impact. But there's two more. The next one is that we need to skill up, because if we want to stop doing all the stuff and stop being responsible for everything, then we need to make sure that people have a capability, a confidence to make good decisions in the business. I don't know about you, but what I really want in my business is other people to be able to make good decisions without me being there. And this, even if they know where you're going and they love you and they're really good connection with each other, this means is that we have to create a a confidence to go it alone, in a sense, to when I'm not there, when you're not there, for them to still be able to make those decisions in the business, and to be autonomous within the business. And when we get this, when we skill up people in a way, and I don't just mean the skills, but what I mean is mindset wise, is we need to coach them to be able to link what they have as a skill to what we're trying to achieve, and know, well, what would make the boat go faster, let's say. Yeah. And that's something that we have to teach. We have to teach you how to do that. We have to teach our clients how to do that. Because if we don't, what happens is that we think often that we have to do everything and we have to tell people what to do. But that's not the truth. What we have to do here is we have to skill them up to make their own good decisions. Okay. And last but not least is that we need to scale up. Well, how do we do that? Well, like I said before, we need to know where the focus and direction is, and we need to give people the skills to be able to make those decisions. But here, this is a bit like the recipe. We need to create reliable repeatability. We need a recipe for success, because we need to know specifically, and within the guide rails, what do we want people to do? Okay, think of it like a chocolate cake. If we have a chocolate cake, yeah, we know what there's the clear focus and direction is. You want to make a huge chocolate cake with 5 layers and lots of candles, let's say. But reliable repeatability is, what does the recipe look like? And then we need to create the systems and processes in the business or within our team, so that people can follow within those guide rails and making good decisions what that looks like. And that's what creates a team performance engine. That's how you look at the accelerators and what to put on, put the brakes on with, and what to set for your business. When you do this, it means that you get the team performance that you really, really need. So I'll stop sharing for a minute. When you get this in your business, you will find that things come much easier. You are able to know what to tweak. You are able to see very clearly that what you need to do. And when you know that, well, it's easy. It's not so overwhelming. It's much more clear. I need to press this button, or I need to do this, or I need to say this, or I need to build communication, or whatever the thing might be. And so you see now you can't do it without your team. And so why does the winner in business, or the winner in the award ceremony, always says, I have done it because of my team? And that's your job as a leader. So if you want to find out more about how to do this, then give me a shout. If you want to talk about your situation, which of these elements is missing for you, then just message me and we can go from there. Take care. Bye-bye.